So the Bintray is more of a social version of Artifactory, a la GitHub. Let's dive right in with how to configure the plugin. It starts off similar to the Artifactory one, but it's a little bit more simplified. So we, like Artifactory, we start off by setting our repositories on our dependencies. And then we'll have to come down and, like any other plugin that we've done, we have to apply the plugin. The rest of this project is basically a small struts application. I'm just building a jar file, actually. Putting in the plugins that I'll need to do that, compile Java, etc. We do have a Bintray closure, and there's a couple of things in here I want to call out for you. It's mostly ready to go, just some default information that you can pull over from plugin site that I'll show you in a little bit. But I do want to call out some specific pieces of information. We do have username and key. This could be username and password. I'm taking advantage of a feature right now that allows me to pull these values from a properties file, from another file where I don't have to have my username and password in my build file set up to be in clear text. I can make it a little bit more dynamic. I can make the maintenance of this a little bit easier. I'll show you how to do that in just a few minutes. Now, I've also got this dry run variable here. And what dry run will do is if I set it to true, it will run through the whole process, but it won't actually send it to Bintray. It'll just let me know if I've got any problems, and I can run through my whole debugging and generation of my build project without having unnecessary builds deployed to Bintray and such. The next one is publish. When you publish to Bintray, you'll need to go to the site and press a button that says publish my artifact. I've got a couple of unpublished things here. If you set this to true, then you won't have to do that. It'll automatically be done for you. Now, I'm going to leave it to false so that I can draw your attention to it when we get to the Bintray and I show you the site. Now, we specify the repository name within my package. I can specify a user org, but it's optional, so I'm leaving it commented out. We can give it a name of the project. There are configurations and publications that we can do. Configurations are going to be just that, configuration files. Publications are going to be things needed for Maven, i.e., that is, POM files. And then just some more metadata that we can add to our project. Now, the rest of this is fairly simple. We've got things that we've seen before, dependencies and repositories. I do want to bring your attention down here to the All Projects section. I've currently run this a couple of times, and I need to change the version because I already have a version 1.0.4 in my Bintray repository. So we can also go in and have this auto-generated, throw in some Groovy code and such. Beauty of Groovy. For right now, I'm just going to leave the static. That's what the build.gradle file looks like. Now let's go and take a look at the command line. All right. The directory is fairly standard, things that we've seen before. Notice that there are a couple of different files in here. Artifactory Gradle, Bintray Gradle, Nexus Gradle. In our sample code, we wanted to specify all of these to be different. But how do we run this? Because we do have a build.gradle file. Well, if I run Gradle with a -b parameter, it allows me to specify any file I want to run instead of build.gradle. So I'm going to run bintray.gradle. And let's just make sure that everything's kosher. Tasks is a great way to do it. Analyze that project, bring up a list of tasks, and make sure that we've got the targets in there that we need. You'll notice that for publishing tasks, we have Bintray upload. That's great. And everything else we see here is pretty much on par with the plugins that we've specified within our bintray.gradle file. So let's now talk about those that username and parameter, or where it comes from. It's coming from my gradle.properties file. You can see I've got Bintray user prop, which matched the value for my username. Bintray API key prop, which matched the value for my API value within my build.gradle file. And I'm specifying my username. This is my account name in Bintray. And then I've got this long API key. This is a great thing for keeping my password safe. And we extract this value from the Bintray site. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Well, let's make sure it works. So Bintray.gradle, and I'm going to run that Bintray, and I'm going to run that Bintray upload task. And this is going to do exactly what we would expect it to do. It's going to build our file, it's going to package it, it's going to send that sucker right up to Bintray. And it's successful. So now we can head over to Bintray. And here we are. So I'm going to refresh my project page. And you'll see it says I've got 2 unpublished items for the repo. This is that link that I was telling you about. If in our build.gradle file we had set publish, auto-publish equals true, then we wouldn't have to come in and actually click that button. But it's here now. There's my version 1.5. And we can look through the project. So if I come down to my version 1.05 and look at files, well, here are the POMs that I put up, and the jar file. It's my section 10 example, version 1.05 jar and POM, and it was done moments ago, real time. So that's how Bintray works, but I'm not going to finish there. I'm going to show you how to get that API key because it's a really great feature. So if I come up to my profile and then select edit, we have a list of links here on the left in the navigation. I'm going to select API key, and Bintray will generate it for you. So copy this, put that into your gradle.properties file, and you should be ready to go and conquer the world with Bintray and Gradle.